At this time, we're going to have CTA reports. Ms. Rodriguez.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Gent. I listened with interest to your conversation this morning at the workshop meeting. First, I'd like to add the union's voice to the many voices throughout the state that are dismayed with the state's wrong-headed intent to forge ahead with assigning school grades, teacher effectiveness, and student proficiency based on the FSA tests that were given last year. As a quick recap, it was a debacle. That's it. Everyone in this state knows it, from the students who took the tests, the parents who objected to the tests while they were being given, to the teachers and district personnel who tried to make it all work, as we always do, to the State Department of Education, and to the state legislature. Everyone knows. So regardless of what they try and say about how these tests should and could be used, we can't and we shouldn't. With that said, I'd like to mention an opportunity for all of those folks I mentioned before to act collectively with one voice, in unison, at the start of the legislative session in January, because that's the only place that this disaster is going to get fixed. On January 14th, we will be taking our desire to take back our schools, our Florida, and our future to the Capitol steps. Our plans are in the works, and we'd like to flood our Capitol with education employees and supporters of public education at a rally in Tallahassee. We're fortunate that the legislative session starts early and it doesn't impact testing that it usually does, and education employees can actually go to Tallahassee. The state the state FEA and the St. Lucie CTACU would like to save you a seat on our bus. All of us together, board members, district staff, teachers, parents, our children, and community members. I know I can count on all of you to help fill that bus and join buses of similar, like-minded supporters from every county in this state who will be doing the same. Hopefully I can count on your support. I won't forget to continue to ask you either. On a more local level, I also wanted to address something else you discussed this morning. Troy talked about a system-wide bureaucracy and paperwork that keeps teachers from getting down to the real work of planning. He was right on the money. He also said that new teachers feel overburdened, overworked, and confused. He's right about that too. Even though I can tell you it's not just the new ones that feel that way. In fact, we have teachers every day that tell us about the hoops they have to jump through, worksheets, if you will, that they have to fill out as part of what is being called collaborative planning. I agree in principle with what Mr. Gent said this morning about collaborative planning flourishing in a culture where principals make time for teachers to work together and share. I disagree that that is what is happening in the forced meetings being called collaborative planning, going on daily during teachers' planning times in many schools in this district. More often, I hear of an agenda created by someone who is not a classroom teacher, and a list of things that teachers need to do, often on their own time and after work hours. Teachers tell us that the real collaborative planning, as Mr. Gent describes, is when teachers are out from the burden of those things and can work together in groups that they facilitate and self-direct. I know I'm at odds with the district leadership on this because we don't agree on what constitutes collaborative planning and what role the facilitators play, but I'm telling you the truth from the field. I'm trying to speak truth to power. I wish more than anything that you could have been in our office last week when we brought in groups of teachers, over 60, throughout the afternoon and evening by school level and asked open-ended questions about things like planning time, lesson plans, and what tools teachers need to do their jobs. Real, raw, honest reports of what they do to jump through the hoops while trying to get their real work done. Teachers must have the flexibility and creativity to work together using the skills that they have to critically review data, yes, but also to think about lessons, reading selections, and individual student needs. Too often now I am hearing of teachers being given canned lesson plans by administration or coaches and being told just to teach what is on the plan. It's really not that simple. It's not as simple as click here and you teach. That's not what's really happening. Too often, I am given copies of multi-page worksheets that administrators are giving out so teachers can transfer data from the computer screen to a piece of paper and turn them into administrators. Too often I'm seeing teachers giving up on being a professional educator in this district because they are not being treated like a professional with the autonomy to decide what they need to do and how they should do it. With all the talk of differentiation for students, we have forgotten that we need to differentiate for teachers too. They're not all the same. With performance comes flexibility. You said that, Mr. Gent, and I agree with you. That really resonated with me this morning. That's really all teachers are asking for. So here's my analogy. It's like we're asking teachers to be triathlon competitors. Some of them already come to us in perfect shape. They're ready. They could run the distance. Some will come to that point with a little training and some practice and some support. And with some, there's a lot of work to do before they can really run the race and finish. But it's not that simple in our district for some reason, because all of these competitors, regardless of their innate ability to run the race, their practice, their training, what we do, what we give them, how much we spend time with them, who mentors them, what coaching we give them, we saddle them with bikes that are underinflated. They have to swim the 10 miles with a sweatsuit on, and they have to run and carry a 25-pound weight with them. That's how it feels. So even though they may have trained and be ready for the race, we put all this other stuff that makes the race itself really difficult. So if the district could just help people by thinking about how to inflate those tires for them before they have to ride that bike 10 miles, and let them just wear their swimsuit instead of all this other stuff dragging behind them as they try and swim. And if they could either help carry that 25-pound weight or just give them the freedom to put it down, we would all end up at the end of the race winners. The teachers, the schools, and most importantly, the kids. I appreciate my opportunity to speak in front of you. Please let our teachers have a competitive edge, because the things that we're asking them to do are holding us back. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez.